Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we are going to learn how we could organize or how we could actually arrange the elements on our window in a much more better way. So in the previous lecture we have simply created a label and we have thrown that label upon the window, and it actually appeared by default on the top and in the center. But what if we actually want to specify a particular location for a particular widget? So in this lecture what we are going to do is that we are going to learn something about frames, and we are going to create multiple frames and we will try to position them at different positions, and we will also add certain elements onto those frames. So even before doing that, let's understand what a frame actually is. So a frame is nothing but it's like a container which is going to hold up your widgets. So the window is one container, and in that container itself we will have another container called frame, and onto that frame we will add our widgets instead of directly adding those widgets onto our window. So the first thing which you need to do is that, as you all know, we have written this code from the previous lecture, so you simply need to delete these two lines. And for the entire series you will actually need this root equals tk and root.main loop, and we are going to write our entire code in between these two lines. So now let's go ahead and let's create a basic frame. So the first thing which you'll need to do to create a frame is that you'll need to create a frame object. So let's type in new frame equals, then simply type in frame, and to this frame you actually need to pass in the root, because we need to state that we want this frame on this root right here. So you simply type in root over here, and once you are done with this, your frame is pretty much ready. Now once your frame is ready, you actually need to pack it up onto the window. So as usual we type new frame dot pack, and that is going to put up the created frame on the window. Now let's go ahead and create one more frame. So we type in other frame equals, again type in frame as we have done in the above two lines. So other frame equals frame root, and also put this thing up or pack this thing up on the window. So again type in pack, and that is going to put up this frame on window as well. Now the thing is that by default the first frame is going to be on the top of the window. Now let's say you want to actually place the next frame on the bottom of the window. So in order to do that, you simply need to go here inside this pack, and you need to type in side equals bottom. So what this is going to do essentially is that it is going to take up this frame and it is going to place that frame to the bottom, and this frame is by default going to be on the top. So once you have these two frames, now let's go ahead and create some widgets so that we could add those widgets to these frames respectively. So let's go ahead, and instead of creating a label, this time let's create a button. So we type in button 1. So let's assume that button 1 is going to be on the new frame. So we type button, and to this you need to pass in a few parameters. The first parameter which you want to pass into this button is the frame on which you actually want to place this into. So we want to place this into the new frame. So we type new frame here, then give a comma, and here you actually need to specify the second parameter, which is nothing but the text which you want to display here. So we type in text equals, and here let's type in click here. Then you actually need to specify the foreground color or the text color. So for that you type in fg equals, and let's say this color is going to be red. So as you could see, we have successfully created the first button which is going to be on the top frame. Now let's go ahead and create a button for the bottom frame. So I'm going to simply copy this button, paste it over here, and I'm going to name this thing as button 2. And instead of placing this on a new frame, let me place it on the other frame. So I'm going to pass another frame here. Let's say the text is same, but let's say the color here is going to be blue. Now we have actually created these two buttons, but the next task would be to basically go ahead and add these buttons or pack these buttons onto our window. So you simply type in button1.pack and button2.pack. So this is going to essentially add up the buttons to our layout. So now if you save the code and if you try to run this, as you could see, now we have our layout right here, and as you could see, now we have the first button on the top and the second button on the bottom. So the first button has the color red, that is the text on the first button has red color, and the button which is at the bottom has the text color blue. So if you maximize this, as you could see, this is our button 1 at the top here and button 2 at the bottom over here. So this is how you could use frames to arrange the widgets onto our window. So that's it for this lecture, and I hope you guys understood how to create widgets and how to add them up onto our window and how to basically go ahead and add items onto the widgets. So in this lecture we have added the button 1 and button 2 on the frame which is new frame and other frame. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.